Testing 1, 2, testing, testing.
Here.
Our two members that are not here are out of town and send their apologies, but good to have you with us. At this time, I don't think we have anyone from city councils. Okay. At this time, we'll look at adopting the agenda. Everyone had an opportunity to look over that, to have a motion to adopt.
I make a motion.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Hearing no, we adopt the agenda. And this time we'll look at the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to look at to adopt the consent agenda?
I make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Hearing no opposition, the consent agenda is passed. Dr. Martin?
All right, discussion items, and I apologize, 8 a.m. on the Monday after a holiday. I'm the genius that scheduled this Board of Education meeting. Next year, I may just go ahead and put it on the 4th of July at 8 a.m., so we'll see you all there. Consent agenda, you can see approval of, first item that I have for review, approve an amended job description for Student Services Supervisor. This is for the position that Dr. Hamilton was in last year, as opposed to having a 612 and a K5 individual. This position would complement Kelly and support in the student services area. The next item that I have here, approve noonday employee assistance program. The Noonday is a service here in the Trussville community, and let's see, we are going to use them to support our staff, our faculty, in the case there are needs there for employee assistance. The next item under consent that I wanted to speak to was approve an agreement with American Travel Consultants for our high school to go to Chicago next year for the St. Patrick's Day Parade on March 12th through 15th. I did want to make sure, this was a conversation I had with Mr. Knaus, did want to make sure that this was in lieu of the trip that they take to Orlando, correct? This is not an additional trip that they take. Okay. And let's see, Board of Education members can also see we have a myriad of field trips over the course of the summer as well. And Dr. Ward, that is consent agenda for today.
Okay, thank you. We'll look at the next item, personnel. At this time, do I have a motion to adopt personnel?
Do we need to approve?
I
You
make
need-
a motion.
Okay, okay.
Okay, we're
Okay.
ready for that?
Yes, yeah.
Do you have a
good.
motion?
I make a motion.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Dr. Martin, anything you want to?
Yes, several items here under, actually just some individuals that I would like to introduce. We have been busy over the course of the month of June. Our principals have, looking at assistant principals, and that's something that we sit down and discuss. I have a chance to interview these individuals as well, whereas principals see assistant principals as their right hand in the function of the school day. These are individuals that I like to see as our pool for potential principals for our school system. And so I'd like to introduce a couple of individuals that we have contracts for on the Board of Agenda for recommendation. The first is Ms. Kimberly Feltz, who will be an assistant principal at Payne Elementary. Ms. Feltz, if you would give us a wave, please, so that our board members know who you are. Not able to be here today, but Stephen Mitchell comes to us from Jefferson County, and he will be a new assistant principal at Cahaba Elementary. He has the big shoes of filling those for Miss Giangrosso, who's moved to be a principal there at Payne Elementary School. So we welcome Stephen. And then we have Catherine Raspberry, not to be confused with Maggie Raspberry, correct, who's our golf coach and has made it to state. But Catherine, a star there at the high school, in and of herself, assistant principal there at Hewitt Trussville High School. So welcome, Catherine. Also wanted to mention that we do have on the agenda a contract recommendation for Dr. Poobie, as well as board members can see. And then just because she is working with the State Department of Education on a couple of matters of certification, is Brianna's here, Oliveira, is new assistant principal at the middle school with Jared Meads. Only other item that I have here under the personnel report is under a leave of absence. If we could, I know that Jared Meads and Hannah Meads have welcomed a new addition to their family. We are working with Mr. Meads on just what the rest of his summer looks like, but I did want to make sure that we mention that we keep little Jackson in our prayers and just support the Meads family as we can. So that's all that we have for the personnel report.
Okay. Looking at new business, we have the first item under that, and I believe we need to make a motion to adopt the first item.
That's right, and individuals may have seen across the Birmingham area as well as the state of Alabama, several systems have already adopted and approved policy as it relates to the new Focus Act, and this is something the principals and I will be discussing at our retreat on July 15th. But essentially what this legislation says, and this was the governor's, really for this session, one of her initiatives, no cell phone communication devices at our schools, period, during the school day. Students are not even to have those on their person. And so we will ask students to either keep all cell phones in their locker or all cell phones in their vehicle if they have one there on school grounds at the high school, and then in their locker like they have in the past for the middle school. But no access to cell phones whatsoever here at Trussville City Schools in this next school year. So that'll be a big policy change, and I know that Mr. King and his team are starting to put parameters together for that. So that's a recommendation, new business number 1.
Questions, comments?
No, I think it's fantastic.
Good.
Absolutely. The teachers will appreciate it.
Yeah.
I watched a webinar, I think it was the principal at Fairhope High School.
Okay.
That started a program like last year, and it was about how they, did it and the benefits that they
Yeah.
saw from that. But it's gonna be a tough one, I think, but I think it's great.
Yeah.
Like if they go to their locker during the day, can they check their phones?
Mm-mm,
or-
not supposed to.
Like no touching phones?
That's right. That's right. Aaron Piper's been leading us through a book study, Anxious Generation. And Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but you and Amit and Yana showed a video where, just looking at the data from testing, a cell phone on the desk versus in a locker versus outside of the classroom, individuals actually scored better the further the cell phone was away from their person.
Even when it's close, extremely close to you, if it's not in use, that you're aware, and it's, the distraction is crazy.
So
think it's great.
would the pouches still be available in the classrooms? We don't have that either.
We're not going to do that. What'd you call that? The parking lot where they put the phone? No, they need to be
None
in
of
their
this.
lockers. Yes, because what they'd have to do is put them on their person to take them to the next class. So we're going to ask them to just keep them in their locker. Period.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be a shock for them.
yeah, it's going to be a change.
I've read the book too.
Yeah, thanks,
It's
Generation.
really amazing.
Yeah. So
Thank y'all.
yes. So you need to do a
We need to
motion.
make a motion to approve.
I make a motion.
Motion. Have a second.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion approved. Next item.
Because of that legislation and the Board of Education passing the policy change, we in turn need to make sure that we update our student handbook as well to account for this change. So new business item number 2 changes our parent-student handbook to account for this change.
Okay.
Very good. Any questions, comments on that? Entertain a motion to adopt and approve that amendment. To have a motion.
I make a motion.
To have a second.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Very good. That is approved.
And then the final new business item is to place a transition job coach job description on the table for a first reading. And what this entails is essentially when we're looking at IDEA, which is special education legislation, there's an indicator, indicator 13, which is a transitional support indicator. So when you think about all of our students that have an IEP in special education, essentially what this indicator does is make sure that we as a school system are transitioning those students past high school, their high school experience. And so I call them the Trussville Aarons. That's Aaron Deck, yes. So Aaron Deck and Aaron Piper have been working on a position to support this change and working with Mr. Kirkland on this as well to make sure that it fits within our maintenance of effort structure. And so this allows for us to support a role that we already have to support those students with special needs as they transition out of their high school experience.
All right, do we need a motion?
Need a motion and
Okay.
adoption,
Now,
yes.
the motion, we have a motion to place this on the table for first reading, have a motion to adopt.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All approved. With that in mind, does anyone have anything they'd like to say, any questions and comments? We'll be here for the next 2 hours if you need anything. At this time, we'll make a motion to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All in favor, good. Thank you for being here. And our next meeting will be the 21st of July. Thank you for being